Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got another gear review for you today. Today we're looking at the Blackstar Fly LT amp. This little thing has gained quite a bit of reputation for its overall size and its sound quality. So today we're going to go into a deep dive, have a closer look, and see if this thing really does pack a punch. First thing I quickly want to talk about is the build quality and the design of the amp. Initial thoughts: it's compact, it's lightweight, which means, you know, it'd be perfect for traveling and practicing. Yeah, and despite its small size, it does feel really well built. It does feel quite sturdy. It's an all plastic case, but it does feel really sturdy and well designed and well built. In terms of design, you've got the Blackstar logo right at the front, and you've got a nice looking grille. The controls are located right at the top of the amp here. We've got 3 standard switches, one for the gain, one for the volume, and one for Blackstar's proprietary EQ switch. Now, my understanding is that the EQ is Blackstar's infinite shape feature, which essentially lets you switch from a British sounding tone to an American sounding tone. We've also got our input jack at the top. We also have an MP3 line in and a headphone output, which again just makes it perfect for traveling around with. And just adding to the versatility of the amp, you also have an overdrive channel on this, so I think it covers the essentials. Moving to the back of the amp, we've got our battery compartment. This amp in particular takes 6 AA batteries, which play into the overall portability of this thing. If you prefer to, you can also power it with a power adapter, but that's not included. Right, so we talked about the build quality, we've talked about the design and the features you have available to you. So let's now talk about the sound. I'm going to record the sound directly into my DAW. We're going to power it via battery power, and we're going to record it using a AT20 microphone. So it should give a accurate representation of what the amp sounds like. Now, where did I put my XLR cable? Okay, so we've got that plugged in, supply phantom power to the mic. Okay, at this point you already know the deal. We're using the Fender Telecaster Vintera 70s model. Bam, and then the guitar right into the input jack on the amp, and let's power on. There we go. So we've got a red LED to indicate that the amplifier is on. Right now all the switches are on 0. So let's go and turn up the gain and the volume. So just one thing to mention, of course, this is a 3-watt amp, so in fairness, it shouldn't be terribly loud. Our volume's pretty much all the way up. We've got our gain at halfway, and then the ISF, the EQ, is all the way at level 0, and this is how it sounds. So let's go ahead and bump the EQ up all the way to the top and see how that sounds in comparison. So my initial thoughts are that the EQ tone essentially gives it a bit more thickness, a bit less sharpness, and a bit more saturation on the tone. It's boosting kind of like the low end. That whole switch being 0 to 10 means you can control how you want it to sound. With it being 0, having a really thin present tone, you know, and then you can just adjust it as such. So, you know, mid, halfway. Definitely a bright sounding amp. You know what, yeah, so I'm actually considering that this amp would, you know, primarily be used for practicing, especially when you're traveling out and about. I'm pleasantly surprised. So let's go and turn the overdrive on and see if it maintains its clarity and punch. Woohoo, we are clipping. Let's turn that right down. Right now I've probably got the volume halfway, the gain halfway, and the EQ 3/4 full. Tell you what, yeah, so we do lose a bit of quality when we do crank it to the overdrive, which is to be expected. So really, that's pretty much it in terms of the sounds you get. Of course, you can tweak it with the gain, you can tweak the overdrive channel with the EQ as well. But yeah, other than that, there isn't much more flexibility. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the overdriven sound from this amp. Again, you're limited with options, so you can't dress up your tone with, with delay, reverb, and all those other good things. You definitely have more flexibility than I initially assumed you would have with an amp like this. That EQ, the ISF switch, is very powerful. Well done, Blackstar. So there you have it, guys. That is the review of the Blackstar Fly 3 LT amp. A few final thoughts. For the price point, you can pick one of these up for about 55 quid. You get a decent built portable amp, which gives you enough flexibility if you're on the road. It's not going to blow anyone away with its crazy amount of tones, but I think considering the price point, considering the size of the amp, it's really loud. You definitely get a decent amount of volume out of it. But if you're plugging headphones and earphones into this, then volume, it won't be a problem for you anyway. In terms of tones, you've got some options, you've got some flexibility with the EQ switch really coming in clutch, setting this apart from the competition. And I like how Blackstar took into consideration the ability to battery power this thing, again, making it more portable. I'm a DI guy, I don't really use amplifiers anymore, so I haven't used a physical amp in quite some time. Again, this is probably not a good one to go back to. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that you can use this as a portable speaker, and then you can actually, there's a port at the back to connect a external speaker as well for extra volume if you need that. So yeah, in terms of practical uses, again, you can use this while you're on the road, while you're traveling, or even for small performances. If you're in a room of a few people, a small room, a few real world uses there. So that's it, guys. That's it for the Blackstar Fly 3 LT amp review. If you found this video useful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let's try and get 10 likes on this video. I will be doing loads more gear reviews in the future. And if you don't want to miss them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions about the amp, around topics I haven't covered in this video, or if you want me to go in more detail, make sure you drop a comment and I'll get back to you when I can. So as I said, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, adios.